Okay. Morning. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers, the local organized committee and the scientific committee. It is really a pleasure to be here in so nice conference. And I will not talk about what happened yesterday because I will keep in trouble. I will speak today about work that is going on is about the quantile regressions. This is a topic that comes to me through Leo Bastos, and we collaborate with Kelly Gonçalves, that is a colleague of my department. The other motivations for this subject is when I look for the income distribution in Brazil through time, and I need to check how is the efficacy of some social policies. And I guess that the economists are not able to do this precisely. So the outline of the talk is, I will make a brief introduction to the subject that is almost completely new for me, since up to 2 months ago. I talk about the quantile regressions in static case, first of all. This was developed by Roger Conker in the 70s, 80s. Conker, by the way, came to Brazil in 1995 to a SINAP, and they gave a short course. And after all, in 2005, he published a book based on this material. It took quite a long time to someone realize that to minimize some loss functions is equivalent to create distributions based on these loss functions and to obtain the posterior mean or mode of this analysis. This is the asymmetric Laplace distributions. So it was very easy for us to introduce dynamics in the coefficients of those regressions because almost everything was done. I have just a few examples with simulated data, and the others, just one or two, just one, with a real-time series. But I have a lot of ideas how to progress with this research. And so every comment will be very welcome. So I have told you some of this part of this history. Everything started in 1978, and there is quite a lot of papers in the recent literature, even with applications in economics, in actuarial science, etc. But what is difficult, at least for me, is that the classical approach is a very hard optimization problem. So it's boring to do that. This happens quite often. The Bayesian solutions are much easier. So this is all we have to do is to solve this optimization problem that is a minimization of a weight, the absolute residuals, a particular loss functions. Minimizing this weight, absolute residuals, is equivalent to maximizing the likelihoods of the asymmetric Laplace. By the way, the asymmetric Laplace will work like a free distribution model for us. Giving me a set of data, and I use the asymmetric Laplace to do the analysis. Of course, a set of quantiles describe much better the conditional distributions than just the mean and the standard deviations, or even the median. So there is some space to develop things in that area. This is a nice paper with revisions of the area up to the beginning of this 2003. And there is the books of Conker that I told you before. There is quite a lot of areas of applications, and I will revise some of them. So in medicine, we have a lot of applications. I am showing you just two areas. In survival analysis, for example, the effects for different group of people are quite different, and so they use quite a lot quantile regressions. In finance, in actuarial science, there is a very recent paper in Royal Statistics Society, I guess, discuss applications in actuarial science to model the cost distributions of the insurance companies, to compare different companies, but not to compare in mean, but to compare in the upper percentile. The same in finance, we have the concept of VAR, that is the value at risk, and so is a stream in the distributions that I need to model. The same happens in economics. This point is my main motivations, is to, in some time, working with income distributions in Brazil, to discuss how some tax strategies or social policy can be used to minorate the income concentrations, and to check if the social policies just implemented, if they had some effect. In the environment world, there is a lot of room to do with quantile regression as well. For example, if I am trying to measure incidence, it is related to the Schu's quantile. By the way, my notations, alpha represents the quantile of order alpha, the percentage, and the quantile will be denoted by Q underscore alpha. The asymmetric Laplace distribution will do the job for us. The classical robust inference, anyway, sorry about that. This is, as far as these loss functions, is generalizations of the L1 loss functions, because I am playing with this asymmetry. We are talking about robust analysis. That is a very old topic in statistics. And I revise here to do an introduction to the asymmetric Laplace distributions, two alternatives that comes to my mind. The first one is to penalize the loss functions. A square loss function is penalized by this quantity, omega theta. Alternatively, I can just model the heavy tail distributions. My observations are in the family, T family, or in the exponential family, exponential power distribution family. These are two sides of the same coin. They do the same job. At the end, they do estimations, point estimations, that are more robust than the normal one, and they could have good asymptotic efficiency relative to the normal model. This is just to compare the penalized loss functions and the square one, and the penalization was through a quotient of a Cauchy and a normal. Of course, if my model, my location scale model comes from the normal, there are a lot of simplifications. This is just to obtain the posterior under a model with errors coming from the Cauchy distribution. The other way is to model straight-on p-regressions or exponential power regressions. This is reasonably close to my recent work. This is an example that I like to use. This is the per capita the per capita spending in education through the American states, and in this other X is the per capita income. And so this point over there is some data from Alaska. Of course, it is out of the bulk of the data. These three lines in blue, red, and black represents analysis, a linear regression without Alaska, with Alaska, and the line of the middle is the results obtained using the t-distributions as a model, with unknown degrees of freedom that can be estimated by the data, using a reference prior as developed by Fonseca. A byproduct of this analysis is that the scale mixture that follows a gamma distributions to product with the normal, after the MEC, we can do these box plots that if it is far away from one, means that that point is an outlier. So I am accommodating outlier, but I have the possibility of identifying the outlier as well. My recommendation here is to accommodate the outliers. This is a classical data that appears in the book of Conca. It's a survey about the salaries of professors in colleges and universities in the United States. And these salaries are related with the number of years after to be a full professor. In group of 2 years or 3 years. And the plot is the median of each segment, each data, and the upper plot is the upper quartile, the below plotter is the lower quantile. Of course, there is the need to smooth the data. The idea of this plot is just to motivate that, to describe the full distributions, conditional to the number of years in the category, is better to model the quantiles than just the median or the mean. But I am not smoothing the data anyway. This other one is another applications that appear in this data set is used by many people. Is a quadratic regressions in the quantile. This is the conditional quantile of degree alpha. Is a quadratic functions, and this is a static regression. Age is explaining the immunoglobulin concentrations. For children from age 6 months to up to 6 years. And this is very important to see the extremes and not the mean values. Try to do as much as possible medicine based on some evidence and for each patient, and not for the mean of all the patients. This was done using some packages that are available to static regressions. Finally, I forgot, I think this was done by someone in 2001 that relates this quantile function to a loss functions, to this loss function over here. If you put the alpha equal 1/2, this is just the modulo of alpha, the absolute value of alpha divided by 2. And so it compares with the quadratic loss functions in a way everyone knows. The quantile regression so is to minimize these loss functions that I have just shown you, with many difficulties because it is not differentiable at 0, and we have to resort to some linear program methods and very boring. And the finite sample inference are based mainly in bootstrap and techniques like that. The asymmetric Laplace distributions is proportional, the density is proportional to the exponential of this, the minus this loss function. And if you do the integrations over all the real line, we get this constant 1 over alpha times 1 minus alpha. The expected value is over here. It's positive only if alpha is bigger than 1/2. And the variance increases quite quickly as alpha goes to 0 or to 1. You can see all this stuff is in the middle for alpha equals 1/2, and to the left and to the right with more variability, etc., etc. So now the connections is completed. I have a loss functions and the minimization problems, and now I have a loss functions to the exponential of minus this loss function representing likelihood for me for any kind of data. Is free of distributions in some sense. There is a representation as a scale mixture. No, in fact, it is a location and scale mixture. This is the quantity that I am using to do the mixture. Is an exponential with parameter 1 and a normal location 0 and scale 1. This provides a symmetric, is one of the possibilities to build up to represent the asymmetric Laplace as a mixture. Under A alpha and B alpha are just constants that depends only on alpha. And fix the 1 alpha, you will have constants. These equations can be rewritten in this form. To do the static Bayesian regressions, I have everything at hand. The only point is that I need to put some priors. And you can choose the priors in any sense you want. You can list some priors. You can use vague priors. There is someone shows that the posterior is all the time proper, and so you don't have any problem. You have to do some numerical evaluations of the posteriors because the equations are intractable. To phrase it as a dynamic models, all I am doing is to plug in this index T over the betas and to provide some dynamics over the betas. So the model is completely similar because I can do these asymmetric Laplace representations as a mixture, and everything is reasonably easy. So we can use some priors. In the hierarchical representation of the priors, the mixture is done by a gamma distribution, a exponential one. We can do some approximations. It could be a good idea to have quickly results to approximate the gammas by a normal with in a different scale with the mean and the variance of the scale. In the sense to minimize the Goldbach-Leibniz problem. Well, so the posterior is that thing. D over T is the set of the information up to time T. E beta is a vector of parameters. E the posterior is analytical intractable. So the idea is to use the hierarchical representations and to propose some MC. It's worth to stress that all the distributions, full conditional distributions are available for sampling, so I don't have need to do any refinements in the MC. This is a results that comes in the static cases just in 2011. Of course, in the dynamic case, we have the problem to compose these facilities of Gibbs samplers with some steps on FFBS or any other ways to sample from the scales, the states. But our start point is this working of Koizumi. The scale factor, if some calculations, is a inverse gamma distributions with these parameters, N star, S star. And the latent component mixture is the more interesting one. As far as the mixture is simultaneous on mean and the scale, it's quite expected that this full conditional will be in the GIG class, generalized inverse Gaussian class. That is a particular member of a much broad class of the hyperbolic or generalized hyperbolic distributions. So this is done in closed form as well. So as I have said, this step can be done using FFBS. In the applications that in the numerical results I will present, I explore the idea of discount factor, and we implemented the FFBS by now. It's part of our project to compare these exact results from MC with some approximations. The first example is artificial data with the linear trend or component of a trend component represented by these submetrics and just one harmonic with this period. I think we have generated the 100 distributions, and we implement 6,000 samplings, MC samples. It took a long time. What means a long time? It's up to you. For me, more than 5 minutes is a long time. Depends upon the dynamics of each one. I don't have the true value here, but it's more than 20 minutes. It's too much. If I have a lot, as the example presented by Mike West, if I have hundreds of assets and returns, and I want to build up a portfolio, but not in mean variance as Markovitch has done, but if I would like to use as the risk measures, the VAR, this is the way to do, and so I need to process individually a lot of time series as quickly as possible. This is the data generated. The linear trend is obvious, and the seasonality is quite apparent as well. We show the results only for the median and for the 90% quintile.
Let's have some questions while we have this injury time break. Could I ask you to introduce yourself when you ask a question, just in case somebody doesn't know you?
Hélio, I'm Ed Lopez. Migon, so do you expect Leonardo just told me that the picture on the right is the picture for the medium. The one on the left is the mean process, and the one on the right is the medium, right? That's the medium? Okay, so why you think any thoughts why the intervals are tighter there where you have less information?
This is an interesting question. I don't know how to explain it now, but I am not a right wing, but that place is much better. I don't know, Hedgie. I don't know what is happening. I don't know. Anyway, but by now, all I have is to show that it's almost working properly. I need to check many points. As I have said, this is an ongoing work. It's far away to be read. The second example with some artificial data is gamma data generated as a dynamic linear model in this way. The mean values of the process of the gamma distributions and the scale factor of the gamma distributions are denoted by mi and phi, and we use the link as a log mi and beta as a dynamic normal models. But the data were generated with three regressions, the level plus 2 regressions, covariates, and the G matrix is the identity as usual. But we are not using these gamma distributions. We are using the asymmetric Laplace distributions to submit to this data. So we fixed the phi was in these versions considered known and fixed the true values, and the covariates were generated from the uniform distributions. The data has this aspect, and the results are that one. In this case, the median, I think, has in confidence regions a little bit better than the upper percentile. It looks that the model is working. Just one example with a classical time series, that is the Nile River at Aswan, has this aspect and is discussed in many books, as for example, the West Harrison book. There is a change of level around here that corresponds to the operations of this Aswan reservoir. We fit a first order model and a second order model, and we plan to do some intervention analysis, but it's not done yet. The estimated quantiles for the first order models are present in the top graphics, and to the second order models in the bottom. It takes quite a long time to recognize that the level has changed, because I am not helping the model anyway, but it's reasonable. So we have developed these GIB samplings combined with the FFBS for dynamic models in quantile regressions. We simulate the data from a normal and from a gamma. The results are reasonable. All the Gibbs steps are based on normal and generalized inverse Gaussians, and they are easy to do. I have a lot of questions to be developed in the future, near future, I hope. Since the computational time is not so small, a fast compute approximation is welcome, and this approximation has to do in some approximation for the gamma distributions through a normal. It could be implemented as in Kullback-Leibniz sense. Another point that I am trying to play with is to model, to combine the time evolutions for the states with some sort of priors to select the models, or at least to shrinkage the models, the coefficients. So we are planning to develop priors for the betas in this class. The easiest one is the student T priors, and that is quite reasonable as the example I shown you in one of the first slides. Certainly, some hierarchical extensions are very welcome, and is in our agenda. Eu acho que falta. The main references are in these slides, and if you want, I can give you these slides. I use quite a lot that one. This one is the first Bayesian try in quantile regressions, and to pay for the accidents, I will give to Mike 5 minutes spare. Thank you.
It's not a question, it's more like a suggestion. I think you can do, based on the simplest structure of your model, I think you can do sequential Monte Carlo faster than MCMC for this class. So you have like 1 or 2 parameters that define the quantile constraint, but then conditional on that, everything else is dynamic DLMs, like dynamic linear models, conditional DLMs, so you can use particle learning or things similar to particle learning. It will be really fast. And the other one is when you put your last extension, I like the idea of the hierarchical, but I would like to see, I would rather work on the GLM extension, like in the exponential family, where you have data that is gamma, all types of data from the exponential family. Because this is where I think the quantile regression can play a major role, because you're measuring the tail of a distribution that is not symmetric in the conditional sense.
Okay, thank you, Ed. I forgot to put in the future workings the ideas of the particle filter, but of course this is a nice suggestion.
I have a kind of more philosophical questions about the quantile regressions. In the first slides, the beta is a kind of dependent on alpha, the quantile, and then we turn out in a dynamic model, your beta is a beta t, and the alpha becomes from the error distribution. So I have an opinion about that, but I would like to know your opinion if this is quantile regressions is the same, there is some difference, because Koenker says that quantile regressions is non-parametric on quantiles, and I saw that, for example, in these figures, the difference from the quantile estimations is a drift in some way. And in the first ones, they are completely different lines. So it's the same, it's not, it's more philosophical questions. I already faced out this problem and I would like to know some advice.
I think, as far as I understand, everything comes from a mistake in my notations. This is beta alpha for the alpha, the quantile of the order alpha. And we have plenty of room to model different dynamics through the choice of the G distributions and the dimension of this vector of betas alpha.
Well, let me make a comment and a question then on this general interchange. Can you put your picture of the results from the Nile flow data? So I've never done quantile regression, but this is a nice picture because it seems that the 90% quantile is relatively stable, whereas the median picks up the change point. Okay, and there's a known intervention, and the structure of the series was abruptly changed. And you said you want to put some intervention in, and that would be more sharply evident in the median. But it seems that the upper quantile would be pretty stable. So this is a nice, simple example to sell the idea that quantile regression is valuable, because different pieces of the response distribution are impacted differently. My question is, one question is simply that what's special about the asymmetric Laplace? So in the mixture representation Z, the mixing scale has an exponential distribution, a unit exponential. Well, that could be something else. Like you could generate asymmetric T distributions, asymmetric stable distributions, asymmetric logistic distributions, asymmetric exponential family distributions by taking a different form for that mixing distribution. So what's special about the asymmetric Laplace?
I think the point is that the alpha in this class of distributions representing the order of the quantile. In the other asymmetric proposals, I don't know how to play, but of course it is possible to model quantiles, but it is not identified straight way. I think so. Okay? Okay. This is quite nice, the smoothness of the upper quantile. I've got less information for it. In this example, I think it's more clear. Okay, there is a lot of space to complement the work. There is the necessity to improve the work. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Well, let's thank Elio once again. Thank you for the questions.